Hey guys, this is Lindsay McDougall. Welcome to a yoga class. Thank you so much for being here. And I'm recording this a little bit late. It's been the Christmas break and I hope you guys are all enjoying it at home. And I thought I would switch gears a little bit from doing our more of the side. I'm looking to switch gears from we're going to definitely incorporate our arm balancing, but I want us to also look at doing some side bending and side work, particularly for our shoulders, because I think all of us could use it with stress and just living with our shoulders hunched up here. So grab a space on your floor, grab a towel to wipe yourself off, and let's get started. I have my block here, and any props in terms of a blanket or a strap will be important. I recommend a strap for some of the poses in this class. So let's start in Vashisthasana with knees together, and I'm going to have a block for starters to sit on. Press your calves outside of your knees and sit back into the block and let the heels just gently graze the outside of the hips. If you want more intensity in this posture, you can lower the block to the blanket. If you want less intensity, you can raise the block. So it kind of depends on your hip and knees situation. So this is a powerful starting pose. It really gets us in touch with our inner warrior, our inner hero, in hero pose. And taking the hands into the lap. Inhale, lift the chest, lift the back body, back of the head, up into the ceiling. Let's take some shoulder rolls here, bringing the shoulders up by the ears and rolling them back. And as you're doing that, the inner thighs are moving down, the hips and hip flexors are lifting up, the abdomen is engaged to support the low back. Switch directions with the shoulders, if you haven't already. Pressing those shoulder blades together and then rolling everything up and around. Good. Come to a neutral spine. And breathe into any unevenness in the body. Find even pressure on the shins, the tops of the feet, the hips, the sits bones. Feel into that lower abdominal space. As you exhale completely, pull that abdominal space into navel center towards the back body, lifting up through the pelvic floor. Finding those root lock centers. The third being in the neck, so tucking the chin, lifting the back of the head. Also have the solar plexus. Pull the low ribs in, the diaphragm is moving around and back. So really feel into the body with the breath here. Good, and take the right hand to the top of the left wrist and press the wrists up into above your head. Roll those shoulders forward. And exhale, come down. And switch sides, bring the left hand to the top of the right wrist. Press both wrists up. Inhale. Lengthen. Exhale. down. Take the hands in a clasp and flip the palms, pressing the pointer fingers first, and then lift the palms to the ceiling, rolling those outer shoulders forward, pulling in on the neck space, creating that wideness on the top of the shoulders, and really firing up the tops of the abdominals to bring those ribs in, expanding the breath into the back body. Can you press the hands higher, bringing the elbows together, rolling outer shoulders forward. And exhale, coming down. And gently come forward to tabletop, lifting with your hands the hips to remove your block or blanket and rotating the hands externally on your mat. Inhale, lift the chest, lengthen the low body. Exhale, pull everything in, come into cat. Tuck the chin, look at the navel. Inhaling, being mindful of the shoulders, the armpits, kind of that belt going around the chest and the diaphragm. Can we create more space there as we move in and out of cat-cow into the back body, opening up the heart. Elbows back, last one. Exhale, press into the shins, tuck the chin. Good. And like we enjoy doing, let's flip the palms so that the fingers point towards the knees. And look at your wrist crease and make sure the wrist creases are parallel to the front of the mat as you point that wrist towards the front of the mat. And then grounding, spreading out the fingers, finding even pressure on the centers of the palms with a slight lift in the center of the palm. Bend the elbows slightly and lift and lengthen the chest forward. Engage the abdomen, sits bones back. Find your tabletop with this arm variation. And what's nice is if you're tighter here, you can bend the elbow or one elbow or both elbows just a little bit more as you firmly plant the wrist on the mat. Good. Work those tops of the shoulders down. Engage the abdomen. Engage, and come out gently, just making the hands into regular tabletop. And we'll sit back on our heels and then take the top of our hand and press the top of our hand toward the front of the mat. So I'm pulling back my fingertips, lowering that right shoulder. I'm not letting it kind of come up by my right ear. I'm lowering it. And then lengthening. It should feel really nice on the forearm here. Good, and switch sides. Pressing that right hand to the top of the left hand, pulling the fingertips back, lowering the left shoulder, creating a dynamic stretch here. Inhale deep, and exhale, lift the heart, and drop the hands. Then cross your ankles, sit back on your hips, and take the right foot back by the outer right hip, and then bring that left ankle on top of the right knee. So this is like a mermaid type posture. And we'll twist everything over. You can also, this is the more level one. If you want to bring that heel up higher, you can do that. And then we're going to twist everything over to the left. Bring the right hand outside the left knee. Look over that left shoulder. And the right hip can come up. Be generous and Just open up the waist and the sides of the hips, the abdomen, breathing into your Mula Bandha and Uddiyana Bandha. And exhale, coming out, switch sides, bring both knees up, drop the left knee forward, left heel back, and then take that right foot, pick it up and place it somewhere along the left thigh that feels comfortable, letting the right knee come down to the floor or a block. And then let's inhale, lengthen, exhale, twist it over to the right. Look over that right shoulder, lengthen, and again, the left hip can come up. Just maintain that contact with the right and lift up through the heart. Feel the hips and the abdomen engage, wrapping the back body around the hips forward and pulling the abdomen in. And then exhale, unwind, and we'll make our way to, actually let's take a couple rocking on the back, bring the hands behind the hips and rock back and forth, kind of getting out any kinks in the back or upper shoulders, tucking the tail, tucking the chin, and then we'll meet in Navasana boat pose. So again, with those hands behind the hamstrings, lifting the chest, pointing the toes about eye level. You can bring both hands to either side of the legs. And eventually, as you get more advanced, you can straighten out the feet, coming into full Navasana. And exhale, let's come to half Ardha Navasana. Just balancing on the tailbone, keeping the chin tucked. Inhale, Navasana. Really use the back body to lift through the heart, wrapping the back of the waist forward, hips are moving down and back, creating this dynamic to lift and lengthen the chest. And exhale, Ardha. Pull everything in, squeeze, point the toes, and then inhale, come into your Navasana. Last breath, make it count. And exhale, tuck the feet under the hips, come into downward facing dog. Pedal out your dog, rolling outer shoulders down, externally rotating the hands. Inhale, press into that right foot and lift the left, and bring the top of the feet to the mat and press into the tops of the toes there. So sometimes some yogis can balance on both of their toes. So just try this out, how it feels. And then switch sides, so left foot plants, and then tops of the toes come behind the left heel. You might hear some cracking. Straighten that right leg as you press back with the hands. And switching sides, or if you want to go to the tops of the feet on both sides, that's fine. Just pay attention to under the armpits, around the ribs there, keeping even pressure, and then coming into your down dog, toes together, arms are shoulder width apart, rolling those biceps towards the ceiling, and lengthening through the front body towards the inner thighs, which are rotating internally, and then lifting those inner ankles. Drop the head, pull the chest towards the low abdomen, inhale, come forward to plank. Exhale, lower down. And take little cobra here. So pull elbows back, lift the knees, lengthen the chest forward, and make sure those shoulder blades are moving down the back, freeing up the shoulder space. Good. Exhale, untuck the toes, come back to downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward, drop to low plank. As you bring the forearms to the mat, you can clasp the hands and then press those forearms and the wrist crease away as you tuck the tailbone and lengthen the chest forward. Squeeze the glutes, lift the side ribs, levitate for 10, 9, hollow armpits, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then coming down. Inhale, take the hands behind you in a clasp, lift the chest, press the chest forward into a locust here. And exhale, hands to the ribs, untuck the toes, make your way back to downward facing dog. Inhale, breathe in, press the hips back. Exhale, sink the heels. Inhale, come forward to plank. Drop that right knee, left heel comes to the right, and lift the left arm. Vashisthasana variation here. Hips are stacked. If you want to bring that left arm to your hip to feel that the left hip is on top of the right, and then roll the right side of the body forward, and that right elbow is rotating towards the back of the mat. And that's going to create a nice opening on the top of the shoulder. Good. If you have your arm up, bring it to the side of your head and lift the left hip higher by engaging the core and just squeezing those right obliques to keep yourself centered and grounded. Good, and drop the left hand, come to tabletop, and back to down dog. Inhale, come forward to plank, hold. Exhale, drop the left knee. Right heel comes to the left, flat right foot, and then open up to the right. If you need to check to see if your hips are stacked, bring that right hand to the right hip, and gently scoop that left hip under, creating a wideness between the hip bones there. And then don't forget to roll the elbow back, creating that openness in the front of the shoulder, squeezing the left obliques like you're doing a side crunch here. But you're also lifting through the right hip and getting lighter left shin, even as the shin is touching. And then if you don't have your arm up yet, bring that arm to the side of your face, reaching, getting nice and long, continuously rolling the right shoulder back, left side ribs forward in this rotation here. And exhale, make your way to down dog. Inhale, come forward to plank. Take a vinyasa here. Elbows in, squeeze, core, look forward. Inhale, upward facing or high cobra. Exhale, Downward facing dog. From here, inhale, lift the right leg, open up the hip, bend the knee, reach the right toes, far, far, far. Again, creating that space and wideness between the hip points. And then exhale, square off the hips, bend the knee in towards the nose, place it behind the right wrist, and look forward, low lunge. Exhale, left foot comes to meet it. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Let's take a nice forward fold here. Heel toe the feet a little bit wider than the hips, or about hip width. Peace fingers to the toes if you have it, or you can bring hands to the backs of the calves. And then the work here is going to be to descend the heart towards the feet and engage the legs. So as you press the knees back and lift the tops of the thighs, then the upper body can come more forward, can release. For more of a full extension of this pose, elbows are coming wide and the chin is tucking. The back body is curving. And then we're really getting into that core and the Mula Bandha root chakra. Good. Inhale, release. Heel toe the feet together. Bend the knees slightly, sweeping the arms up, coming to our standing asana. Exhale, hands down. Let's come into a little vinyasa flow here. So we will inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Take a clasp with the hands behind the body, rolling the shoulders up and over. Inhale, use your balance, heavy left foot, right leg reaches back, low lunge, sweep the arms up, crescent. Exhale, let's come into a child's pose. Inhale, squeeze your way forward, lowering knees, chest, chin, into high cobra. Exhale, untuck the toes, make your way to down dog. Inhale that right leg back. Sweep it forward to the right wrist, lower the left knee down, sweep the arms up, low lunge here. Exhale, lower the arms, make a clasp with the hands, untuck the left foot, and step up to the top of the mat, rolling the shoulders up and over the head. Forward fold. Inhale, sweep all the way up, and exhale down. Let's try that again. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, take the hands to a clasp, roll the shoulders up and over. Strong legs. Whoop, almost fell there. Heavy right foot, left leg goes back, low crescent, sweep the arms up. Exhale, take a child's pose. Inhale, look forward, pull the chest forward between the thumbs, knees, chest, chin, and then squeeze up, elbows in, high cobra. Strong legs, and exhale, make your way to down dog. Reverse knees, chest, chin, lift the hips. Inhale, left leg back. Open up that hip, reach it to the right. Exhale, square the hips. Sweep that left leg forward. Look forward. Drop the right knee, low lunge here. Exhale, make a clasp with the arms using your balance. Untuck the toes and spring forward to the top of your mat, rolling shoulders up and over. And then inhale, sweep the arms all the way up. Good. Exhale down. Let's try a balance pose here. Some of you may want to take a strap. Others of you may want to try using peace fingers at the toe. So bring your hands to your hips. My left hand is holding the strap. Inhale, lift and lengthen, drop the tailbone. Exhale, bend the right knee, and bring your hand to peace fingers around the big toe. So this is the starting posture. Those of you who want to work into a straight leg, holding the right foot with your hands, go ahead and do so. Dropping that right outer hip, lifting the chest, right shoulder down. Those of you who want to bring the strap around the ball of the foot and give yourself a little extra length there, but knowing where you're going, knowing one day you're going to be holding onto that foot and pulling it up towards the ceiling. If you have the strap, again, you're strengthening and lengthening the left leg and then pressing that heel away, dropping the right hip. Roll the top of the shoulder down, right shoulder down. Look forward, chest is up. And then let's move this over to the right, left hand on the hip for a side, looking over that left shoulder, opening the door. Exhale, bring it back to center. Knee to nose if you've got it. And exhale, drop and release. So I'm feeling a little more of the Hatha and the Ashtanga today, for those of you who practice Ashtanga and Hatha. Bringing that mountain pose into your body, feel the differences in the sides of your body. Tuck the tailbone, lift the chest. And then hands on the hips, lift that left knee, grab the big toe, and then you can really just work this into a balanced posture, just getting more comfortable. Just like when we do seated on the floor, you're bringing that left knee into the elbow, and right leg is becoming long, and you're just incorporating that outer hip strength and hamstring flexibility to get into this pose. So if you're going for it, lengthening out through the heel, left shoulder's coming down, left hip is coming down, abs are engaged, chest is lifted. Those going for the strap are going to take the strap around the ball of the foot, again grabbing inside of the foot with the palm face up, finding your grab. Shoulder down, lengthening how you need, and then right hand's on the hip. Let's open that up to the left side, gently opening that left leg, looking over the right shoulder, dropping the left hip, extending through the heel. Notice how when abs engage, you can get a little strength and lift to the heel. Exhale, bring that back to center, and release. Knee to nose if you had it on the other side, but otherwise, we'll come back to the top of our mat. Inhale, lift the chest, feel the breath, enjoy the sensation. Let's come to chair pose. Sitting back, lifting the chest. Sits bones are moving back, shoulders are down the back, and raising the arms. Engage the abdomen and core. See if you can pull the inner abdomen and the hip points back in space, but keeping the sits bones moving back as well. So lengthening where those hip bones are, coming up and out of the pelvis here. Good, exhale, forward fold. Nice job, guys. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, place the hands, right foot back, left foot back plank, or hopping, take a vinyasa here. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward, halfway. Drop the heels to the right, Vashisthasana on the right side. Roll that right shoulder down the back, elbow back, bicep forward, and then left hand can come to the hips. Are your hips stacked? And then can you pull that hip up 4 or 5 more inches? So you're really on the outer edge of the right foot. Look up that hand. And exhale, plank. Pull everything in, shoulders down, elbows back. Rock the heels to the left. Open up the arm. And then you can bring that right hand to the hip. As you pull the abdomen in, left elbow is going to move towards the back of the mat, bicep forward to really engage this left side of the body. And then lift those hips a little bit higher. Notice what that does. Can you lengthen the left side even as you're raising the body? Can you bring more strength into that left side? Good, and exhale. Come to plank. Let's take a vinyasa. Rolling shoulders back. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg back. Step it forward. Finally, we get to warrior one. Sweep the arms up. Exhale, take the arms in a clasp. Sit deeper into your warrior, into the asymmetry. That left foot can track on a separate lane from the right, so make sure your legs are not overcrossed. I know some people tend to bring their right leg way, way back, but bring it out to the left more. Sinking in, lifting the chest, engaging the glutes. Exhale, roll the shoulders up and over the head, coming into a surrendered warrior here. Arriving with humbleness, dropping the head, back of the neck long. You can almost take a crunch in this position and feel the release in the neck. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, warrior two. Back heel, front heel intersects back arch. So in this case, the legs kind of move together a little bit. And then internally rotate the left leg, externally rotate the right leg. Lift the chest and pull those shoulder blades back to touch. Almost like you're zipping up the inseams of the shoulder blades as you reach those arms wide and feel how that, wow, that really opens the chest. Feels totally different in the upper body. And exhale, reach to the back of your mat, surrendered warrior, this way. And then exhale, pinwheel the arms, take a vinyasa here. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the left leg. Exhale, sweep it forward to the left wrist. Right heel down. Come into, don't overcross the legs. Widen that stance. Sweep the arms up, warrior one. Exhale, sink into that left hip. Press the outer edge of the right foot down. Drop the hands, take clasp here. Roll the heads of the shoulders back. Touch those inner scapula. And curve, rolling over to your surrendered warrior towards the right corner of the mat. Engaging the abdomen, keeping that right heel, the foundation. Left abs are engaged. Crunch a little bit in terms of pulling the abdomen in and squeezing the upper abs, letting the back of the neck be long. Inhale, sweep the arms up, warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. Left heel back arched. Glue the shoulder blades together. Reach those fingertips apart. Lift the heart, engage the abdomen here. This is your warrior, just like we started. Find that hero. Only you can change your life, change your circumstances. Sweep into a surrendered warrior, knowing that we are the ones in control. Exhaling. Pinwheel the arms, pull everything in. Let's take a vinyasa. So when we take control of our body to feel a certain way, to garner a certain response of the prana of our life force, we can generate the feeling state that we want to have, that we want to bring into our lives. It often works reverse in terms of our body and how our body feels creates and generates that feeling state. Inhale, right leg back. Sweep the right foot forward. Open up to warrior two. Visit here. Inhale, reverse. Exhale. Right elbow to right knee, side angle here. Bring that right hand down to the ankle. Revolve the chest towards the ceiling. And pull that right hip in as you glue the right inner knee to the right arm. Those of you who want to take the bind, left hand comes behind the hip. Right arm rotates underneath bicep, underneath hamstring, and then that right arm is going to grab the right wrist. So find your version that takes it to the next level for you today. To create this in your body. Connecting the dots in yoga, connecting everything. Mind, body, spirit, breath, unity. Exhale, lengthen the right leg, come into triangle pose. If you have the bind, keep with that bind. You need to loosen it, and then just drop the head if you're in the bind. If you're in triangle, right hand's coming inside on the mat of the right leg. And we're revolving the chest and using the heart space to create shoulder space, neck space, revolving from inside the heart. How beautiful is that? Exhale, bend that right knee, bring the hands inside the right foot. Let's take a vinyasa here. Upward dog, rotate those elbows back, lift the chest, heads of the shoulders back. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg back. Sweep it forward to the left wrist, right heel down, warrior two. Open up to the side. Inhale, reverse. Reach to the back of the room, right hand behind the hip. Ooh, cracked my neck there. Exhale, take a side angle, left elbow to left knee. Right arm comes by the head. And then from here, tuck the left hip under. Squeeze, lift, and lengthen that right hip open. And then drop that left hand down the leg to grab the ankle. Rolling that elbow back. Reaching that right arm forward. Maybe you touch the ground or the block. Those who want to take the bind, right forearm is going to bend behind the waist, and then the top of the hand is going to work its way down outside the left hip. Left shoulder is going to glue inside the left knee, and then biceps going to roll under that hamstring. Back of the hand is going to grab the right fingertips or the right wrist, and then we're going to revolve the chest open. Using the heart center, gluing that left knee to left shoulder. Find your version. Take another breath here, knowing you are the one who brings yourself to this next level. Exhale, lengthen that left leg, coming into triangle. So whether you're in level 1 with the left hand on the floor, whether you have the bind, you're squeezing the legs back, quads are engaged, and the chest is revolving. If you have the bind, you're really doing more with your legs so that the chest can release more. And that's pretty much the case with most of these standing poses, but particularly in the bind. And then exhale, bend that left knee, hands inside the foot, take a vinyasa here. Upward facing dog. And our downward facing dog. Come into child's pose. Gonna towel off. Always get sweaty in those binds and twists. Let the forehead be heavy, outer shoulders sinking down. Good. Inhale, press the chest up, untuck the toes, and come to heels together, toes together, knees wide, and bring the hands behind the heels, pulling yourself, your face closer to your feet in a cat arch of the back. So I'm demonstrating from the side. If you have extremely tight calves or Achilles tendons, you can bring a blanket under the heels. But this is a nice balanced pose. And you press the heels and the insoles of the feet together. Thumbs face down as we pull the heels and the face closer to the feet. Can you maintain a balance as you curve the back even more? Just really opening up that back body. Good. Inhale. Come out. Come to the ball of the foot. Lift the knees. Bring that knees to touch the upper shoulders. Hands flat on the mat. Come into crow pose. So rock forward onto the hands. leaping off the toes, one foot or both feet lift, and then the knees are resting on the shelf of the upper arm. Big toes to touch, lift the core up. Inner elbows up, inner ribs, inner abs up. Exhale, repeat Malasana. Hands to heart center, elbows and knees pressed together, lift the chest, drop the tailbone, and try again. I like to do it without the block and just test my body gravity and work it into just what's easy and what works for me. If you're more in a level 1, you're going to lift the hips and the knees are literally going to come right to the back of the arm, just proximal to the armpits. And then those knees are going to rest on the shelf at the back of the arm. But honestly, what I find easier and less intense is just squeezing and placing the knees outside the shoulders. There seems to be more room with the muscles to catch the knees as you rock forward and bring those toes to touch. So finding some playfulness and some nuances, since you have garnered so much strength in this class, putting it to good work. Exhale, lift the hips, bring the feet wide, toes pointing out, grab opposite elbows, drop the head and sway side to side. Just let the head and the elbows fall, be soft. Let the back of the heart just melt towards the ground. Good. And then let's make our way to our mat, onto our back. And we'll come into bridge pose. I'm going to try and adjust the lighting. Knees will come up. Roll those shoulders underneath the chest. Heels to hips. Rotate those inner thighs down. Inhale, lift the hips. And then bring the hands into a clasp, rolling the shoulders underneath the chest even more. And then from here, press into those heels. Inner thighs down, hips up. For those with extra wide hips, I want you to point the toes outside the mat and then lift the hips higher. And then exhale, come down. So I was doing a little practice, and I noticed when, traditionally, as I've always been taught through my yoga career, is to keep those thighs parallel in bridge. We're going to take another bridge in a moment. But I also know there's a lot of healing to be found if we point our toes slightly outside the mat, but keep those knees in. Just a slight external rotation, especially for women, and then press up through the tailbone. It creates a little bit more space in the hips and the inner thighs. That feels quite nice. So let's do parallel to start. Bringing the heels in. Inhale, lift the hips. Roll those shoulders underneath. Maybe bring the hands to a clasp, or you can bring the fingertips under the heels. Although this might get tricky if you move your heels, but in any case, lift the hips. Pull the abdomen in. Bring all that weight to the shoulders. And then for those who want to try, just pointing the toes outside slightly, just pivoting on the heel slightly, bring the toes outside and then lifting again. can be kind of a cool, interesting thing. And then exhale, windshield wiper the knees, rock side to side. And let's take an inversion to balance out our class today. So taking a yoga blanket and having it on the wide, just half fold position. And your shoulders will go, for those who want to do shoulder stand, I'm sensing, even though this is pre-recorded, I'm sensing that some of you want to do headstand and some of you want to do shoulder stand. So for the shoulder stand folks, a half fold, and then take the 1/4 of your mat to fold over the blanket. And then you're going to line up your shoulders with the blanket and the mat, and walk your hands up the back to come to shoulder stand. Those who want to do headstand, we will take our hands in a clasp, and one of the pinkies is going to come inside the other pinky so that it's flat. And you're going to bring those pinky fingers to your mat, and it's going to be like a 45-degree angle with your elbows. And then the back of the head is going to be placed in the basket of the hands. And then you're going to raise the hips, walk the feet in like inch by inch until the hips are on top of the shoulders. And then from here, the experimentation that you want to be doing in the middle of the room. I don't think it's advisable to do it on the wall because you'll never learn how to balance in the middle of the room. And because we have the crown of the head and the forearms, it's actually a very, very stable posture. So those in our shoulder stand, take 10 breaths there. Those working their way to headstand, we're going to lift everything up. So you can experiment bringing one knee in and the other, shoulder heads moving down the mat, away from you. And then eventually both knees come up, and you can lift the knees first and let the heels go down the back, eventually straightening out the legs. But what's nice about stopping at the knees is you can align the tops of the shoulders with the hips and just start to straighten out. Both poses, energy is streaming up the legs, up the balls of the feet, getting lighter up through the body. So this is a really nice way, counter posture for all of the poses. We get that inversion. We're forcing the blood to the extremities, but we're also powerfully returning and detoxing any excess blood or fluid or anything that needs to be transformed through the circulation, through our heart, our breath. Those in shoulder stand, make your way to plow. Those in headstand, lower into a pike pose. If you can lower slowly and bring the tops of the toes to touch in a controlled manner, that's what you want to try for. And eventually coming to child's pose. Coming from plank to knees to ears, shoulder stand folks. And eventually from knees to ears, coming through fish pose. which is nice counter pose. Headstand folks stay in child's. Shoulder stand folks, those hands are going to come under the hips, and you're going to lift the chest and let the chin hang back and open the mouth. Stick out the tongue, cross the eyes, lion's breath. One more time. You can do this in child's pose too. And then we'll make our way to Shavasana. So rolling things away, finding props that serve you, a blanket under the knees, under the hips, if you like, or the shoulders. And doing anything, happy baby, just getting ready to fully relax. Let the feet, legs fall to the side. Bring that neck nice and long. If you have to pull your hands behind your head to lengthen the back of the neck so that the shoulders can just relax and come down. Just notice the breath. Notice the heart settling in. Collecting in all of the things that we learned today. Feeling our strength in this softness, this release, this wonderful sense of vitality in the release. Relaxing the back of the head, the jaw, the temple and forehead, the backs of the eyes, even the muscles around the mouth and the cheeks. As if we've forgotten how to smile. Everything comes inside into this hidden, wintry place. Gratitude for the space that we've created. Stay here for a few more minutes to fully integrate, and I will see you next time. Namaste.